On this episode of China Uncensored, teenage romance targeted in Chinese schools. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. There is a new and grave threat lurking in schools across China, one that must be stamped out whatever the cost. Puberty. Stability maintenance is of utmost importance to China, and yet a dangerous segment of society known as teenagers are going through radical hormonal changes that lead them into engaging in all kinds of counterproductive behaviors, such as noticing the opposite sex. It's called zaolian, or immature love. If this is allowed to continue, children may come to the dangerous conclusion that there might be more to life than listening to their parents and studying for the Gaokao. Fortunately, the BBC reports that measures are being taken in some Chinese secondary schools to stamp out puppy love wherever it rears its ugly head. For those of you who aren't British, secondary school refers to what we here on the other side of the pond call middle and high school. At least one school in Hangzhou, Zhejiang province has said students of the opposite sex must always be about 1.5 feet away from each other and can't travel in pairs. School authorities in Wenzhou have promised severe disciplinary action against any student engaging in close interaction with members of the opposite sex, or the same sex. And with something as vaguely defined as that, I'm sure the principal's office will be very busy. I just hope their principals aren't like the one from Hainan who slept with 4 underage students in a hotel room. Actually, over the past few years, there have been several cases of government officials hiring underage girls as prostitutes. Just in June, an official was executed in Henan province for raping 11 underage girls, so maybe instead of focusing so much on keeping secondary school students apart, they should focus more on keeping communist officials away from secondary school kids. Now, keep in mind, in addition to trying to keep the sexes segregated, there's also no sex education in school. That's resulted in tremendously high abortion rates because people don't know how to use contraception. Last year, 6 million abortions were performed on women under the age of 25. Now, there are health risks to having multiple abortions, but these girls sure don't know that. The whole thing, to me, feels like some kind of twisted form of morality that puts test scores above everything. I mean, it's immoral for a young boy and girl to walk side by side, but it's fine to treat even younger children like this in a dance class? And that while case after case is exposed of high-ranking officials having mistresses or hiring prostitutes, secondary students are not only left totally uneducated about sex, but also about basic interaction with the opposite gender, while sometimes even having to fend off their own teachers, principals, and government officials. Now, I agree that teenagers shouldn't be getting themselves into adult situations. I mean, I think things in the West, particularly in America, are way too sexualized. I just don't think it's a fine line between kids holding hands and Miley Cyrus. So I think what probably would be a better idea is to, instead of teaching boys and girls from a young age to be afraid of each other, actually treat them as separate, independent human beings capable of their own thoughts and opinions, and explain to them that, you're young, enjoy your childhood, don't rush to become an adult, instead of treating them like bushes to be pruned into whatever shape you want. Because that doesn't work. And while there are plenty of voices praising the new restrictions schools are placing on students, there are an equal number of voices criticizing it. Students, for one, say the rules can't reasonably be enforced. But what do you think? Should teenagers be segregated by gender? Did you have friends of the opposite sex when you were in school, and did that make your life richer or poorer? Leave your comments below or write to me on China Uncensored's Facebook or Twitter page. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new episode. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.